Welcome to episode 3 of More Than a Game podcast. We've got the great Andre Moore of the Brisbane Bullets fame. Also played in the NBL for the Taipans and the Hobart Tassie Devils. And I'm Tim Wilshire.
Brisbane Bullets brought me out here. Remember that? Don't forget about the Brisbane Bullets. They didn't want.
Didn't I say the Bullets? What did I say?
Yes, you went straight to the Cairns and Hobart. That's all good, man. I love those two.
Brisbane Bullets, of course. It was great to catch up with you a couple of weeks ago, Andre. You took me to a game to watch our Brisbane Bullets. They've been. I can't believe. I mean, the NBL have been sort of following it the last couple of weeks. It seems to be like playing every second day, don't they? Yeah,
games are coming fast and furious. Now
is the regular season? Is it just about over now?
They're finished now. The playoffs is about to kick off now. Bullets had their last game against the Southeast Melbourne. Melbourne.
So after that game that we watched, I think they were about 3 games below 500, but they must have come home a little bit stronger. They sort of ended up 500, 18 and 18.
Yeah, they just missed out.
Only just missed out. So there was just a little bad stretch there where they sort of slipped up on a couple of games and they ended up staying in 6th position there. So it's just the top 4 teams that make the playoffs, I think.
Only top 4, your final 4, just like the NCAA tournament.
We've got a couple of Melbourne teams. We've got Melbourne United, and we've got Southeast Melbourne Magic, Phoenix, and Perth Wildcats and the Illawarra Hawks in the playoffs. So that probably gets started pretty soon, I'd imagine.
It is. But before we get started, would you allow me to say a couple things? A couple days ago, I was very honored to be interviewed from Chicago by a Chicago radio station called WVON. It's one of the oldest and most prestigious radio stations in Chicago. They have a gentleman by the name of Clyde Travis who does a sports talk show, and he goes back and finds a lot of the high school, college stars from the Chicago area, and does a profile and story on them. And I was a subject matter a few days ago. It was I was really honored. It was funny because technology, man. I think let's give a shout out to Steve Jobs and those guys with the technology. Because while I was on the interview, doing the interview by way of Zoom, the Chicago audience was getting it by audio. They were receiving it by audio, but I had my mother and my sister and my little niece on my phone by Facebook Messenger, video. So they were watching me as I was doing this video. This video hook link up from Chicago. So it was pretty cool. But the reason I wanted to take a couple minutes out because I am very upset that I missed out on mentioning a couple very, very special people in my life. So I just wanted to mention those people because they're probably going to see this particular podcast at some stage. So, first of all, I only mentioned a couple of my kids. I want to say hello to and I love you to Jim, Archie, Mona, Jayla, Josephine, Cammy, Tariq, and Zane, my 8 kids. Then I had my best buddy, Philip Jordan, who I grew up with, because we spoke about my growing up in Chicago and all that. I like to say, what's up to him and his wife, Brenda. And sorry I didn't get a chance to mention you guys in that article, but you're always in my heart. Then there was also my brother Jermaine, my uncle Donald, my aunt Estelle, who's a sweetheart sometimes. She can be a bit tough sometimes as well too. My cousin Stephanie, my who else did I miss out? There's a couple other people. Taylor Bell, because this guy, Clyde Travis, worked for the most prestigious, or one of the most prestigious newspapers called the Sun-Times in Chicago. And Taylor Bell,
very well known, yeah.
Yes, Taylor Bell was our beat writer back in the high school beat writer who used to write some brilliant articles about people like myself. Derrick Rose when he was at Simeon. What's his name? All the top colleges, Terry Cummings, Tim Hardaway, all of us, got really good write-ups from him, back in the day. So shout out to Taylor Bell, wherever he is as well, if he ever gets a chance to watch this. But I just want to thank all those people because they even though I didn't mention them the other day in an article in a story, they are very close to my heart. Yep. So thanks for letting me allow me to take that time up before we talk hoops now. Yeah.
No, very well done. Excellent.
Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. So we're just obviously that's very, really good, Andre. Just the NBL season coming into the playoffs, as we said. So that was a good experience. As you said, I think that place we went to, the Nissan Arena, was it's only been around for a couple of years.
Yeah, only a few years old.
It's actually quite a good facility, and I do thank you for the tickets. That was
my pleasure, man.
Great to watch a game for such a long time since I've been to an NBL game.
Yeah, Netball Queensland built that. Had that built through Netball Queensland. They were kind enough to bring on the Bullets as a tenant, which is an issue that we hope will be rectified in the very near future, where the Bullets will have their own place to play at. Even though they're playing some great venues, but we need to have our own, because the Bullets were the very first national team in Brisbane to win a championship way back in 1985. Later on, the Broncos came along, and the Bears, which are now the Lions, and all those other places, all the other killer bee teams came along later on. The Bullets set the standard for national excellence, victory on the national stage. So they deserve to have their own home place to play at.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Brisbane Bullets, I mean, obviously they finished sixth, but what I think from what I saw there, how do you think the team sort of fared overall? Who do you think? Obviously, Sobe did lead the team in scoring.
Sobe's he's a finalist for the MVP voting as well, too, in the top three.
Really?
Yeah, he's a top three finalist.
A lot of three-pointers. I think he hits like 4.3. Hang on, was it? Nearly 3-3-pointers a game. So he's hits a lot of threes and has scored to score more than 20 points a game in the NBL is very, very good.
Yeah, he definitely had a breakout year. I think he spent some time in Adelaide and a few other places, but he had a breakout year this year. His energy was just electrifying. He brought it every game. A couple of games kind of slipped up. But that's to be expected. For the most part, he played really well. The Bullets, overall, they had a good season considering the fact that and Coach Lamanis, we got to give him a lot of credit because this is his last year. He's moving on. He's moving on to I think coach over Japan, so he's fine. But he did a great job of bringing the club back to prominence. But the issue was he didn't have the same budget that a lot of other
teams
clubs had in the league. So they had a bit of a shoestring budget to work with as far as bringing talent in. But the talent they did bring in, they got the best out of it. So considering that the financial sort of ramifications. I think he did a great job, as well as the front office as well too. So hopefully the NBA players that are, I think Kevin Martin, is one of the owners of the team. Those guys will.
Brisbane Bullets, yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Martin had a great NBA career. Hopefully those guys will take that into consideration. I think we're going to have 3 imports next year as well too. So bringing back Vic Law, when he went down with an injury, that really.
So he wasn't there. He was injured, obviously, when in the last few games,
Yeah, you have a healthy Vic Law along with bringing back Lamar Patterson, and then
so both those guys missed half the season each. If you look at that.
Yeah. So I think they'll have a bright future for the following year, especially if we can bring back big fellas like what's his name, Big Haji, and
I like him. Yeah.
Even a young fella, another big fella from Oviedo, New Zealand. Where's he at?
Not Frolin.
He's not on this list right here. Is that
that other guy? I think I know who you're talking about. I can't remember.
Yeah, the big fella, big 6'11", 7-footer.
Yeah, I don't know. This needs updating. There's a couple of players there missing, I think. But
yeah, he's Kiwi. He's a big Kiwi.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah. I guess the center rotation, this probably needs a bit more stability. I think they gave Hodgson a lot. He gets probably the most minutes at center.
Yeah. I think he's working on some pretty wonky knees as well too. His knees are for him to play the way he played with those knees that are quite not in the best shape. He did really well. Yeah.
The guy that I liked though in that game that we watched was Drimic. I think he sort of was the best player.
Very underrated. Drimic was very underrated. Yeah, he's a
think you'll see him getting a lot more minutes even next year. Hopefully, if he stays there. So that's the Bullets. So it's going to be interesting NBL finals then, isn't it? But have you been any predictions on who's going to win the NBL finals?
I think it's up in the air. Anybody can win it because Perth. I think they're going to be struggling a bit because they not struggling, but they're missing Cotton. The MVP for the last couple of years. Bryce Cotton, he's out because of injury. So without him, they're quite vulnerable.
I'd say Melbourne United are probably the favourites then.
Yeah, they'd probably be the strong favourites. But they have a lot of talent on that team. But don't count out AEIOU, with headed by Brian Gorgon. He's he's
the coach.
Yeah, master tech. He's the all-time winningest coach in the NBL history. So, he's going to come up with some kind of, with AEIOU. They got a guy named Tyler Harvey on their team. I don't know if you remember seeing him play. You had a chance to see him play this year?
Who's that? Sorry.
Tyler Harvey.
Yeah, no, he's scored more than 20 points a game as well. He's great.
This guy can hit it from the car park. That's what that's his range.
A lot of threes. Yeah, he's very good. Very good player.
Leadership skills, intelligent guy. He played really well for them. Along with one of my former teammates, Shane Frawley's son, Sam Frawley, who make it. You should get the what do you call it?
Most improved
player this year. Yeah.
Okay.
Had a heck of a season this year. Big Sam Frawley.
Yeah, so I'm not okay. We won't count Illawarra out, especially if Tyler Harvey gets hot.
Right.
And well coached.
The defense, defense is a staple of Brian Gorgon's team. So, I'm sure he's gonna ramp it up, for the playoffs. And then what was the fourth team? Southeast Melbourne. Yeah, Southeast Melbourne had some struggles. Came out the gate really strong, and then they had some struggles. One of their star players, who I won't go into details, got into a bit of strife, but that he was able to get out of that. He was able to work away from that trouble and all that. Came back on the court. He was still a little bit psychologically, out of it. And then he's come strong now. So they're looking good as well too. So don't count them out as well.
Yeah, they're definitely good. I mean, that Creek and Sykes, they're all good players.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Brokoff used to be a good player.
Yeah, he's the X factor. I think if he comes in, shoots the ball well, like we know he can shoot it. Lights out for Southeast Melbourne. Yeah.
So so that's the NBL. The NBA playoffs. Have you been paying much attention to the first round? Did you?
Oh, very much so. It's been a
tell me
whirlwind.
What's the biggest surprise in the first round, other than obviously the Lakers had their injuries and as a result, they didn't have enough to get past the Suns. Was it the Suns? Yeah, it was the Suns, wasn't it?
The Suns. They were the second seed though in the whole.
Yeah, no, but they actually look like they're a second seed.
Right. With 83.
You get a full sense of security to see Phoenix, the second seed. You say, oh well, we're the Lakers. This is a good matchup for us.
Right.
Man, the Suns they've got a proper team, man.
Yeah, the biggest surprise would probably be the Hawks. Trey. Yeah, Trey Young. They lightened it up. They're playing really well. Yeah, the Hawks.
So the Hawks. The Hawks upset. They sort of upset the Knicks in the first round. They didn't have the home court advantage, and they won that series 4-1. So it was a very good series. And Trey Young was great. What's his name is really playing well at the moment. Deandre Hunter. I think he's stepping up.
Who's this guy?
Ayton. I think he in the playoffs.
Oh, Ayton with the Suns. Talking about the Suns. Oh yeah. He's round two. I just watched the game, first game, round two.
Sorry, I'm going all over the place. Sorry. Okay, we're talking about the Hawks, and then we're talking about the Suns. So
right.
Hawks. Yeah, the Hawks. They're going really, really well. I think they've got a good Gallinari's playing well off the bench. And also Herter. I think he's playing really, really well.
Herter's great shooter. They got a lot of good shooters around. Surrounded by.
I think Deandre Hunter's like a really good defender, so they missed him. I think I'm not sure.
That's Deandre you're referring to, Hunter. Yeah.
Yeah, Deandre Hunter. He missed the first two games in this series against Philly. Now They split the first 2 games with Philly. It's 1-1. Were you a bit surprised that they took game 1 off Philly, or not?
I didn't get a chance to watch the game. I heard it was a controversial ending to that game. It came down to a last shot or something, or last play?
No. Atlanta had sort of blown Philly out all game. Actually, they were way ahead.
They were in control most of the game.
They were up by 17 with 4.5 minutes to go.
Right.
Only won by 4, but
with Embiid. Embiid was playing.
Embiid's playing through the meniscus tear. Yeah, he's
all right. Okay.
Never heard of any of this before. Never heard someone who's played. There's obviously varying degrees of a meniscus tear, but a meniscus tear and something like that, you can see he's hampered. But this guy still averaging nearly 35, 40 points a game.
Yeah, he's a load on that.
How does he play so well with such an injury?
Just talent, man. So I was just thinking the other day, him versus a healthy Embiid versus a healthy Shaq. I think Embiid would give Shaq some trouble, man.
Well, he can shoot the 3. Shaq never could do that. I mean, he can step out and shoot from anywhere.
Yeah, but down low, Shaq would kind of.
Oh yeah, Shaq down low, you can't stop him. But Embiid, I'm not sure if I don't know if the Hawks are going to do something different, maybe. But they won 1. They've got the next 2 games in Atlanta, so I think they've got a good chance in this series. They really do.
And another big issue is the crowds. We got the crowds back. That's a huge news story about the crowds coming back. Because the COVID situation is starting to ease somewhat. A lot of people getting their shots or their vaccinations, so that's allowing a lot of stadiums to open up their doors to the crowds, and they're making a big difference. Especially Utah. Just watch the Utah game, Clippers game. Big crowd. Their crowd is crazy, man. Woo.
Yeah, but it's really strange, this whole home court thing, because if you go back to that LA Clipper Dallas series,
that was crazy. Yeah,
the first 6 games of that series were won by the road team, and then it took the game 7 the Clippers to win at home to finally get rid of Dallas.
Yeah, Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz probably wouldn't have been really proud of that situation, because she was the one that famously said there's no place like home. But it wasn't a team that won a home game until the closing game.
Yeah.
So everybody lost on the road. But in the end, that series, Doncic was spectacular. He just didn't have
what a player Doncic is. I mean, it's only his 3rd season in the league, isn't it? So
yeah, he is.
For him to be this good at 8, not even really. Is he 23 yet? I don't even think he's
23. He barely 22, 23 years old. Yeah. Which is so polished, man.
Very polished and such a good leader. The ball just go every possession. The ball's going through his hands if he's on the court.
Takes his time with it, man. He's becoming a better defender as well too. But free throws. When I think about free throws, I think about Giannis and Doncic. Those 2 guys.
This is why these two guys that you're talking about probably aren't as good roto 9 category or 8-9 category players as they score in points, but because of that free throw category in particular, both those guys I think shoot under 72% or something. And
and Ben as well too. Ben Simmons, he's not.
Simmons is a horrible first game.
Got the hacker Simmons thing going on now.
3 out of 10 from the line in the first game against the Hawks.
When I coach my kids, I got to keep my team, the West Brisbane Falcons. We do a lot of free throw shooting under pressure, after a drill, where they worked up a lather on the particular drill. I got to put them right on the free throw line, so they can shoot under pressure and while they're fatigued as well too. That's how you teach good free throw shooting habits in a game sort of scenario, I'm sure they're doing that with these guys as well too. The budget they got, they better be doing that type of stuff. But once the lights, cameras come on, it's a whole different story with some of these guys.
A lot of pressure. I mean, and certainly a lot of people. You see a lot of great free throw shooters out there that shoot, in the late 80s and the 90s, and
pressure does 2 things too. Pressure does 2 things. You can either burst pipes or big diamonds.
Exactly, and players like Trae Young, who probably get there the most out of anyone in the league, are really, really good. So, such an importance.
Yeah, free throw shooting cannot be understated.
It decides games, I think, a lot of the time too. If you can get to the line, one thing I'm noticing about Denver is they're not getting to the line. They're not taking their, what I'm seeing so far. If you watched game one.
Well, game one, Marty, what's the coach for the Suns?
Monty Williams.
Monty, who should have probably been, well, Tibbs. Congratulations to Coach Tibbs for getting it.
I mean, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
And NBA offices are in New York as well too. Just keep that in mind.
He would have been about 4th or 5th on my list, but anyway.
But game one, Coach Monty Williams, what he did was he decided not to double team the Joker, which is sort of nullified him, as far as trying to, because he gets his triple doubles, passing off to other guys and all that type of rebound and everything. That's when they usually are really firing all cylinders. So by playing him one-on-one with Ayton, they just kind of cancel each other out. He's also preventing, that gives the other guys on Ayton's team, the Suns team, some players a chance to play their man one-on-ones, which lessens the chance of him getting his assist. So that's what they're doing. Yes, that's just the game plan.
Is game 2 still on your to watch list? Is it?
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
So I can't tell you
all these series are very intriguing series.
So I can't tell you the results of game 2 then between the Suns and
oh yeah, probably. I got it recorded. I
won't tell you what happens, but yeah. But it's an interesting series at the moment. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But as I said, the Clippers and Utah game 1. What about Donovan Mitchell in the 4th quarter? Jesus, this guy was just on fire, and they couldn't stop him.
He's the real deal. He is
45 points against those guys.
He has most definitely catapulted himself into that stratosphere of superstar.
He's playing sort of semi-hurt, I think, or pretends to play hurt or something.
Yeah, but, I see him talking to himself a lot. Revving himself up, and talking. And he has good. When they, how the NBA has those has a moment when they have the mic, the guys mic'd up.
Yeah, I saw that. I
like those moments. He was saying some really good stuff to his teammates. His coach gave him some good confidence building speeches during that time as well. When he was mic'd up, the coach for Utah. Yeah, he's a good guy, good coach.
Yeah, so probably Utah needed that win probably to have a good chance of beating the Clippers. I think at least they did it without Mike Conley. I mean, Mike Conley should be able to add something if he can play in this series.
Oh, definitely. But Kawhi, you can't, Kawhi, the way he closed out Game 6 against the Mavericks, that was vintage Kawhi right there. And I think we're going to see that during this series as well at some stage. I mean, he looked well. He played well this game 1 as well too. Paul George is the X factor as well as for the Clippers.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be I'm thinking that goes 7 games. We'll see how it plays out. That Utah Clippers. Clippers are a good team.
Great series.
It's hard to beat them 4 times in a series. I think that's if they are disciplined like they are at the moment, very hard to beat 4 times in a playoff series. I think.
The other guys I like for the Clippers are Reggie Jackson, man. Jackson he's come to play. Zubac, he's looking really good.
What I don't understand about what I didn't understand about game 1 was they put DeMarcus Cousins out there for a couple of minutes, right?
He did well too. He did well at the little.
And he ends up. That's the only 4 minutes he played in the game. He came in and got 6 points and 5 rebounds or something.
About three fouls.
Yeah, but he should have gone at least a second stint. I think he could have. I really like DeMarcus Cousins, especially if he's on the same time as Rondo on the court. I think they play really well together still.
Yeah, a couple Kentucky boys. That's Kentucky.
They played at Sacramento together. There's a long history.
Yeah,
together. And they need to, a few more minutes couldn't have hurt.
Somebody pointed out the other day to go back to the Lakers that I don't know how many. We could just name all the guys that are still in the playoffs now that played for the Lakers last season that are still in the playoffs. Yeah,
I think you said that there was something like that. Danny Green's still in Philadelphia, so he left there.
Yeah.
Rondo's obviously still around.
Dwight Howard in Philly as well. He's back. He's still playing.
He's a number 1 backup behind Embiid.
So he's
a couple
other guys.
JaVale McGee, I saw him. He's playing for Denver, isn't he?
He's on Denver's bid. Denver, yeah.
And he's deep on the bench, I guess. Yeah. So there's a few guys that that they gave away, but
I mean, how do we look at that?
I mean, the way I look at the whole Lakers thing is, I just think we didn't get a perfect condition. The big two have got to be in perfect condition in order to win games. And if they're not in perfect condition, they're not going to win. Simple as that. Because they've got nobody else. There's nobody else really trained to step up. And even though people have blamed some of the other players on the team for the loss, like I've heard people blame Schroeder. I've heard people blame Kuzma. I mean, all these different things as far as what they're trying to put the blame on. But at the end of the day, these guys are not really those sort of players at the moment, especially in the playoffs.
Think about it. I don't know if you know Schroeder. He actually turned down an $80 million extension.
Yep.
Back himself, So I don't know. Yep. I hope he doesn't fall into that Isaiah Thomas category where Isaiah Thomas from Celtics a few years ago, he got hurt, after having a great season. He was
I think definitely Schroeder's got the ability, but it's just the way that the team runs. I think is what happened. Is what happening with Schroeder. I think a lot of the season he was probably playing pretty well, but just when it comes down to it, when you really need it and you need to be the man, he's just not the man.
How about Gasol and Drummond?
And Drummond not getting any minutes in the last two games. I mean,
and Montrez as well too. Montrez, I think he's out as well too.
Montrez has already said goodbye. Did you see that on Instagram?
Yes, I saw it. See you, Laker Nation. Yeah.
I don't know. That's another example of the Lakers they certainly could have used him better, but the reason that he wasn't used very well is because they get keeping all these other pieces around. Added Drummond. There probably wasn't did they really need to bring Drummond in if he's not going to play games?
I think Gasol is looking a little bit like he's on towards the end of his run. He's looking a bit slow out there.
Oh, definitely. I don't know. He just seemed to be the only player that could hit a three out of all the centers or something, and that's why they put him out there so they could spread the floor a bit. But at the end of the day, he's not going to play more than 15 or 20 minutes or something.
Yeah, so they got a lot of.
But anyway, we'll see what happens with the Lakers. We got it right. We've got it right one year, but this year we sort of. I don't know if we really got it wrong. I think Father Time got it right.
Yes.
And I think Father Time was winning as far as the Lakers, especially LeBron and AD with those injuries.
Yeah, Father Time's undefeated. That's for sure.
And injuries don't help. So so that's an interesting. We haven't really spoken about the Nets. The Nets is on a bit of a roll.
Oh my goodness, the Nets. Woo! What a only word comes to mind is juggernaut offensively, especially.
They didn't have Jimmy Harden at all in Game 2, and the result is a 44-point victory.
You talking about street clothes, Jimmy?
Yeah, that's the one.
That's what they would call it. AD, the street clothes.
Yeah. I think will he be back? I don't know. Hopefully he'll come back maybe in the next round or something. I don't know.
No, I'm not sure yet. But they certainly are showing they don't really need him.
No, and the good thing is that the role players seem to be stepping up quite well. How good was Blake Griffin so far? Just really, really good.
Blake is definitely pulled back the time clock.
Game 1, I think in particular, I think you got 20 and 10, and
some of those emphatic dunks he got though too.
Yeah. And these other guys like Harris and Bruce Brown, just really good.
Bruce Brown, you gotta love that guy, man. He's so undersized, man, but he does play so big for his size, man. And his energy is just super contagious.
So is Milwaukee have the Bucks got any chance here? I mean, it's obviously this.
Who's this?
Have the Bucks got any chance at all in this series? Probably not.
I don't know, man. I don't know what they could do, man. It's KD and Kyrie put on a show. Those guys, Kyrie is just so fun to watch, man. Him and KD, it just they're just the price worth the price of admission. I pay double to see them guys play. Actually, the guys are just efficient. Just efficient. So I don't know what the Bucks could do. How they're going to counter the Nets attack, because
So to me, it looks like the Nets are definitely going to come out of the East. I just can't see any team stopping them at all. I really can't. I mean, especially what Embiid is going to play well, but he's not going to be able to. I'm not going to be able to take all these guys out. There's just,
Yeah. He's definitely. It looked like the Nets going to do that. Get out.
And even if the Hawks get through, that'll be interesting if the Hawks got through to the Nets. But I just think, just Hawks are a bit too young to mess with the Nets at the moment.
Nah.
But it could. I mean, I think the West is just so wide open. I don't know if you were to pick of the team that you think is going to come out of the West now.
I couldn't say, man. Yeah, it's just hard to say. I would have. Yeah, I couldn't say. Yeah. Is that?
I think all four teams are pretty even, but I think I think Utah and the Clippers. I think it's pretty equal. I don't know.
All four teams are quite equal.
I think I don't know. I think from what I'm seeing, I think the Phoenix Suns. I think they've got a chance as well. I really do.
BP3 is such a great leader, man. He makes that team so much better.
He was third or something in the MVP votes. I saw.
Yeah, he got a couple votes there. Even Derrick Rose got a 1 vote.
What?
He got this is guy coming off the bench. That just shows you how great a season he had coming off the bench. But he got an MVP.
Did he get the 6th man of the year, or was it they gave it to Clarkson? I can't remember.
Oh, Clarkson, yeah, Clarkson got that. He sold that.
Clarkson's he's pretty good too, man. I tell you.
He's a crowd favorite over there. He can shoot.
Yeah, but what I do like about this Utah Clipper series is there's more big man on big man sort of battles. They're playing a bit of Zubats and they're playing Cousins, and so there's a few times where they get the big lineups in against Gobert, and it's quite.
It's a chess match. It's a chess match for the coaches. Counter moves. According to what the other does. Wes. I literally cannot tell you who I would think will come out of that. It's just so wide open. They all so evenly. Who would you say is the best player in the West right now? Well, it got to be the Joker, I guess, because he's one.
He's probably the best individual player, but the thing that I'm worried about with Joker is he getting enough help?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so he's not even really, like I said, the Suns so far have kind of nullified his production, as far as getting those triple doubles and all that. He's still scoring.
No, he's great player, and it's a bit of a shame that Jamal Murray's not going to be playing. So that's certainly a big thing, because they got all the way to the conference finals quite easily. Well, not easily, but they got there last year with Jamal Murray sort of being pretty much their best player with Joker.
Last year,
they were in a good spot. So whereas I think a lot of these the other 3 teams in there, if you look at Phoenix, you look at Utah, you look at Clippers, they are better. They play the whole team. There's enough danger.
Right. So they're all team oriented.
Like if you look at the Clippers, Marcus Morris hit like 6 out of 7, hit 7 3-pointers the other night. And
they tied Steph Curry for the most threes in a final series.
I don't know what it was or something.
Game 7, yeah.
And also the Duck Luke Kennard hit like 6 3-pointers the other day. So
he's been another bright surprise as well too.
Like
that dude got a nice lefty shot. Nice lefty shot.
They got deep on the rotation. I do like this Terrence Mann guy too. I think he's got a huge future.
I like Mann, and the kid for the Philly comes off the bench with the same sort of hair as Mann. What's his name?
There's two guys off the bench in Philly, really, really good. What's his name? Shake Milton was really good in game.
Shake had this most recent game. He went.
You're talking about our boy Tyrese Maxey, aren't you?
Maxey, yeah. He and the kid Mann, remind me a lot of each other. Yeah, Maxey's from Kentucky.
There's another guy too. I mean, I was looking at these guys coming through in college, and if you ever, there's this guy. He might be in the 1st or 2nd round in the draft this year.
Okay.
Kentucky. All right. I think I'm pretty sure Maxey was Kentucky, was he not?
Yeah, Maxey's Kentucky. Yeah. Man was Florida State.
Similar. Oh, was he? Yeah, Man was Florida State,
Florida State.
But Maxey was Kentucky.
Right.
There's a guy who looks like these two guys.
It's the hair. The only kid. Even my son Jalen has the same hairstyle.
I'll show you what I'm talking about. A guy called BJ Boston. Have you ever heard of BJ?
Oh, yeah, I heard about him. Yeah, this kid. Yeah, he's a up and coming kid. Yeah.
BJ Boston.
Right.
Let's see if I can get him on the screen here. Oh, BJ Boston.
BJ Boston. That's a good name.
So there's a bit of a story.
How about this? The shakeup of the Celtics front.
There he is, BJ Boston or Brandon Boston Jr.
Yeah.
Doesn't he look? They all got the same look, haven't they?
It's that hair, man. That floppy hairstyle.
But there was a tragic story. You probably read about that. How long ago? It was a couple of months ago now. Was it Kentucky? They had someone who was going to be eligible for the draft get killed in a car accident.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
And he was a friend of BJ Boston's.
Yeah. Made the kid rest.
I remember the guy's name, but yeah, that was very, very sad.
Very tragic. Yeah, the other story, heartwarming story, is about the Frenchman playing for the Clippers. His dad, the French point forward for the Clippers. Batum.
Oh yeah, I should have Batum.
Yeah. When Batum was a kid, his dad was a basketball player in France.
Yeah.
He collapsed on the court while he was playing. Batum was in the audience watching as a kid, and his dad, collapsed on the court. At 30, he was only 30 years old at the time. Lost his life, on the basketball court from an aneurysm, which my dad passed away from. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So aneurysm can happen just like that, pop, so something you can't really diagnose, I think, from what I understand,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Say what's up to my son in the background here? That's my son's name. Tariq, sorry.
Zane, is it?
Oh, this is Tariq when he was a youngster with an organization called AEIOU for children.
Yeah, I have heard of AEIOU, yeah.
Yeah. He was he did a posterized picture. You might see it better. We can take this off right here. Come on, better right there.
Yeah, that's a good banner. So obviously that's for children with autism.
Yes. He's 16 years old now. He's almost 6'3" now, and I'm a strong advocate for autism awareness, because it's something that affects lots of people. They still haven't found a cure for it.
Yeah,
but, he's making a lot of progress. Tariq's making a lot of progress. We love him.
Yeah, I've known quite a few people over the course of the last in my adult life that have had kids with autism. It's so hard. It's very difficult. It's a hard one.
It is. It's usually males too.
Yeah, it's usually males, and you get a lot of them are sort of the way their sort of mind works, and I don't know if your son has worked, but it works in such a way that they like their computer games, and they like all the
very, very some child. Yeah, my son, he loves his iPad. Is his
they're addicted to the
number one thing. Play things. His iPad. He loves his iPad. Yeah,
they're addicted to the screen, and they don't like even once you start interesting things I've seen, that they don't like putting money in the bank. They like putting money under a suitcase or under the bed instead.
Yeah, the thing about it brings up a good point. You brought up a good point. The thing about young people or people in general that have this condition is that they're kind of blessed in a way, because they're unaffected by a lot of the day-to-day things that we're affected by. They're oblivious to a lot of these things, racism, money woes, all the issues that we're affected by. They're oblivious to it, so they don't get to worry about that type of stuff. They got their own little world going on.
That's right. That's exactly right. Exactly.
Yeah. So that's how I look at it. They we got to worry about these things. They don't.
Yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, definitely.
But we're all on the. And another thing is we're all on the spectrum in some stage. So we're all each and every one of us on this earth is on the spectrum. Yeah, at some stage we all have our little quirks.
Yeah, everyone's different.
Whether we're we have phobias. I actually have phobias against big statues. I can't be around huge statues. Yes, world, that's me. If I was I would not be able to stand next to the New York,
the Statue of Liberty.
Statue of Liberty, yeah. I would be too freaked out by it, man. I'm 6 feet 8 inches tall. Go figure.
Have you been to the statue? Have you sort of seen that up close before?
No, but I think I had some nightmares when I was a kid that have brought on those phobias.
Okay.
I was being chased by huge statues or something. even things like the Madame Tussauds wax
Madame Tussauds, yep.
Yeah, it was actually pronounced Tussaud. Actually, it's pronounced Tussaud, but it's spelled like Tussauds.
Yep.
Even some of those figures, wax figures, are kind of freaky. They kind of reminds me of the occult or something. Something. I must have watched too many horror movies as a kid. Go figure. Yeah. But you'd
be pretty much taller than all of these particular these.
Not the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty has to be about inches.
If you go into the wax museum and you'd be sort of.
It's just the realness of them. The realness, the way they look, that look in their eyes. The way they look at it.
Yep.
It's kind of cultish to me.
Yeah.
But it's still fascinating. Still fascinating sort of stuff. There's one statue somewhere in Germany of a lady, a huge statue of a blonde lady bathing in this river in Germany. It's the freakiest looking thing. She's her legs are like, it's like her legs are up in the water. She's in the bath. They said it's called the bathing lady, or the lady in the bath in Germany. That statue is very mind-boggling when I look at it. Well, for me, me personally, yeah. Wow. So there you go. I got my phobia. That's my little phobia right there. What about yourself? Any phobias?
I don't know, mate.
You don't know?
My phobias. I mean, what am I scared of? That's a really good question, to be fair. I mean,
things that freak you out. Yeah, heights. You good with heights? You good with claustrophobic? You good in tight spaces? Would you be able to work in a crawl space?
I don't think I'd cope too well in a confined space. So I think that's a lot of people will probably like that. But I guess I got a fear of always trying to make sure I don't do something bad. That's my, always. Okay, that's a bit of a fear. Like if I do something and I don't do things bad too often, or whatever.
That usually spurs people on the fear of failing, fear of failure.
Well, not so much the failure, the fear of doing something that's not, sort of morally correct or
morally correct. Yeah, okay.
Or something of those lines. Like I don't want to be. That's my fear. I don't know if that's that's probably just
temptation. That's
just a way of growing up. I guess you want to try to do things sort of right a lot of the time, but you're never going to be you're always going to do things as well as you can a lot of the time, but you're not going to be ever perfect for.
There's always going to be temptations out there. That's what I think. That's what you get to. There's temptations out there that we have to sort of.
So I don't know if that's a fear or what, but that's something that probably the only thing that I can really think of at the moment. So,
yeah, cool. So you would gladly jump out of an airplane if it was.
No, shit, no, I would not jump out of it. I will do a bungee jump this year. Already.
Yeah, you're in New Zealand there. You're AJ Hackett's. That's the.
I've got a voucher. I've got to do that this year sometime. So I have to do that, but I will do that. But jumping out of a plane, my wife has done that, but I don't know if I could do that.
Up in Cairns, I did the AJ Hackett, not the bungee jump, but they have what they call a mid-gene swing.
Oh yeah.
They hoist you up as far as you would go if you were bungee jumping. And you let go, you pull the string, and you go swinging like a pendulum sort of thing. Like a pendulum sort of effect.
How'd you find that?
Exhilarating, and I don't think I'll ever do it again. Also went on that the giant drop with my daughter.
I think I've done that at Dreamworld once.
Yeah, Dreamworld, where they hoist you up, and then it's the thing about it. You get to the very top, and it just sits there. You know, it makes you think about what you've done. Why did I get on this thing? You got this beautiful view, but you don't know when they're gonna release the hatch. You know, you're gonna go plummeting down. That's part of the thrill, I guess. But again, I won't be going to that thing again anymore. I went over with my daughter once, and she was quite excited about it. Yeah, that's Camellia, who's in Melbourne right now. She sees it. How you doing, sweetie? She's studying architecture at the University of Melbourne. Very proud of her. My first child to go to college.
Very, very proud, very proud dad there. So
yeah, see, Camellia, Candy, yeah. So yeah. So we covered everything NBA wise.
I think we covered the NBL. We covered the NBA. So I think
yeah. How about this Kwame Brown phenomenon? Have you followed that?
Yeah, what's the go with that? I saw him pop up a couple of times, but I'm a busy man. I don't always get and click on everything. So
you know who Kwame is?
Yeah, he was obviously, I think he was number 1 or number 2 in the draft.
Number 1 pick in 2000. I think it was 2001.
Yeah, and he played for the Washington Wizards for a bit when Jordan was there. The Lakers when Kobe was there.
Right.
He was never a good player. It was pretty crap or a bust or whatever you want to call it.
Well, yeah, they want to use the word bust. Yeah, he was. Yeah, so he's had to endure 20 plus years. This whole, whenever a player doesn't do well in the draft, he's considered, a bust. They always bring him back to the Kwame Brown situation. Yeah. They always try to compare him to Kwame. So Kwame is just sort of just come out of his shell, and he's a phenomenon now on social media. He's all of his detractors, Stephen A. Smith, Matt Barnes, Stephen Jack. He's going at their throats, pointing a mirror, basically putting a mirror in front of these guys, who are making fun of him for all these years, and now he's showing them, hey, this is, what about you guys, Matt Barnes has had some problems with his wife leaving him for Fisher and all that type of stuff. I won't go into all the details, but basically this is Kwame getting his revenge.
Yep.
And he's doing it with the blessings of his mother, which he calls the wisdom that she instilled in him. He calls it Mama's cooking. I'm coming at y'all with Mama's cooking. He's a country boy, he's a country boy from South Carolina.
Yeah.
Same place that produced, same state that produced Kevin Garnett, who later went on to play high school ball in my hometown, Chicago, but he's from South Carolina. Guys like, and also the guy who's my mentor, when I was with the Denver Nuggets, Alex English from South Carolina as well too, and a couple other great players as well. So Kwame is all over the net. He's got his own, his audience level. His audience has just grown exponentially. He's a big hit. Everybody's on his side because they feel like he's been the downtrodden guy who's been picked on for the most part, and he's getting his revenge back. It's very sweet in a lot of people's eyes, especially Kwame. So you got to tune in and check him out on YouTube and all that.
He wears a lot of pink shirts. I don't know.
Pink shirts. Real men wear pink too. I got a couple pink shirts in my wardrobe too. What's the big deal with that, man? Come on, man. What's the big deal?
Nothing. Yeah. He's giving. Yeah. There's a clip there where he gives Matt Barnes all the smoke or whatever.
Oh, he gives him. Yeah, he's giving them. They got their podcast is called All the Smoke, but he's giving them all the smoke. It all started from an interview they had with Agent Zero, Gilbert Arenas, because he's a former Wizard, and I think that once his name came up, they started like poking each other, like yeah, Kwame Brown, yeah, remember him? And that's where he had enough. He was watching the interview because he's very, very, very aware of what's going on social media and all that too. And the thing about it, Kwame was so quiet throughout his 20 years in the league. He was almost like a mute. We never heard him be interviewed because he never got interviewed after games and all like that. We never heard how he spoke. So for him to come out and be so articulate and so passionate and very, get all this vitriol out. It's really amazing to everybody, who's followed basketball, So it's really, really amazing. You got to jump on that internet and watch some of his interviews, some of his podcasts, some of his rants, I'll call them. We actually had a guy from my school, Loyola Chicago, who was the number one pick for the Portland Trailblazers back in 1977. His name was LaRue Martin. Went to Loyola Chicago. Yeah, he was the number one pick in 77. That was the year that the Portland Trailblazers actually beat my favorite team at the time, the Philadelphia 76ers, with Dr. J, with Bill Walton and those guys beat those guys in the best of 7 series in the finals. I was really, really upset. I would have been about 12, 13 years old at the time. I was a huge Dr. J guy, Still am, Yeah.
I've seen. I saw a couple of 30 for 30s not too long ago. There was one about the Lakers and the Celtics, and that was really good to watch all that 80.
Oh yeah, that whole series, just about that whole series over the years and how that rivalry.
You just forget how good Larry Bird was, mate. He was so good. He was unbelievable. Like, no one talks about him much anymore.
They try to call Doncic the Bird of now. With this, Bird was just. It's only one Larry Bird. He was unbelievable. His back let him down, towards the end, but great player, great
Larry
player.
Bird was just a phenomenal. Like, you forget how he was he could score, he could shoot threes, he could pass.
A huge point forward. He was a huge point forward.
And the other thing about him too, 6'9", so perfect, nice, great size. But you look at his career, he averaged over 10 rebounds a game in his career, which was phenomenal.
He wasn't the best leaper at all either. He wasn't a great leaper.
No, but
rebounds about position and desire.
And sometimes he'd play small forward, like you'd have McHale and you'd have Parrish at centre, and he'd be the small forward, and still,
Arguably the greatest front line of all time. Yeah, those 3 guys.
When they were all on together, those 3 guys definitely. He was.
I can't think of a front line that was better.
Yeah, 3 MVPs. Sorry, what was that?
No, so I can't think of a front line that was probably better than those 3.
No, not that comes to mind. No, definitely not. They were phenomenal. They were all stars. And the whole team was probably a bunch of all stars.
Lakers always had Kareem and maybe Worthy, but that third guy, third big guy, that was a committee sort of thing. It could have been Rambis, it could have been Landsberger, those type of guys. But those are 3 solid big guys. They had the nerve to be bringing the great Bill Walton off the bench because he was, there was those Celtics teams, But the Lakers dominated the 80s, though. The Lakers had a slight edge over the Celtics during that period because the Magic Man.
Yeah, he was really good, mate. They were there at the start of the decade. They were there right to the end of the decade. They were there the whole time. So they were.
Yeah. They started with them in college in Michigan State versus undefeated Indiana State with Larry Bird's 30. I think they were 33-0 when they got defeated by Magic's Michigan State team in that 79's NCAA tournament. And that started the whole rivalry.
Mm. Yeah, so reminiscing about some of these great players in.
That saved the league. Those 2 saved the league as well too. Prior to them coming to the league,
they made the league as well. They'd saved it.
Yeah, they saved it. Prior to them coming to the league was riddled with a lot of druggies, and just crazy. Yeah. Ratings were down. People were, turned off by the game. They brought the ratings to an all-time high, and then the NBA sort of just piggybacked off of that. Then that's when David Stern came into the league as commissioner. And he was a great commissioner for the league. And then he came in right around the same time as Jordan was coming in as well. And those 2 kind of skyrocketed the league into the to an international sort of phenomenon.
The other thing I saw that was really interesting, an interesting stat. Now that we've got to this point in the playoffs,
right.
This will be the first NBA Finals since 1998. That's the Bulls versus the Jazz were in the finals in 1998.
Right.
It's the first time since then There's only 4 teams that have been in every finals since 99 to 2020. Lakers, Miami, Golden State.
Wow.
And the last one is the Spurs.
San Antonio.
So those 4 teams. Yeah. Those 4 teams have been in. One of those teams has been in every NBA final since 1999 to last year.
Man, that's a heck of a stat right there, man. That's a heck of a stat.
I saw that online and I said, I've got to remember that one. And I went through it all and it's exactly right.
This goes to show that, man.
Because the Lakers had some runs. I mean, the Lakers, they had some really good runs. They had won 3 in a row. They won 2 with Kobe. They won 1 with LeBron.
Right.
Miami, how many times were they there? They were there with Shaq.
Always. Every time you turn
around. 3 or 4 times with LeBron. 4 times with LeBron. Miami. And then the Spurs won about 5 championships.
And what does that show you? Nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts
Golden State with all those titles as well.
Yep. It just goes to show you that nothing lasts forever, right?
So that's an amazing stat.
So it's gonna be refreshing to have a new championship. I mean, new champion. I hope Phoenix. You know, I kind of have my sentimental favor would be the Phoenix Suns. They've had such a stellar franchise over the years. You know, going back to when the Colangelo family was running the club, and you know they had Walter Davis, and over the years, you know, Nash and Stoudemire, and going back to Paul Westphal, the late great Paul Westphal. Man, he rested in peace.
I think they've got a really good chance. I mean, they depends on who they play. You know, it depends on how things go. I think they've got a good chance. I think
they do. They have as good a chance as anybody, like we said, because it's such a it's like a lot of parity in that West.
And the good thing about them, they shoot really well. They all shoot really well in that team.
They move the ball around well. You know, and Chris Paul, if he can stay healthy, is the ultimate floor general. He brings it all together.
I think he led did he lead the NBA in assists this year? I can't remember.
I would imagine he would have, yeah. But you know, back when he was with Houston with the beard a few years ago, he was only what was it, hamstring? What did he go down a hamstring away from when they took Golden State to Game 7 when he was with the Houston Rockets with James Harden. If he hadn't got hurt, they probably would have had a good chance of winning that championship that year.
Yeah, no, they definitely would have. There's no doubt about it.
Everywhere he goes, they win, though. You know, everywhere they go. OKC, you know, everywhere he goes. You know,
he was 3rd in assists, but Russell Westbrook led the NBA in assists.
Oh yeah, Westbrook. We got to give a shout out to my man Westbrook. The season he had was great. Him and Bradley Beal, you know, for them to finish up in the playoffs, you know, through that play-in, by way of the play-in. The play-in tournament was really, really a good concept the NBA came up with. Whoever the nerd was that came up with that, kudos to him. That was great. It played out pretty good. But for those guys to get a little bit of playoff exposure, it was really good for Bradley and you know, Bradley, Westbrook, and the rest of the Wizards. Rui Hachimura, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. He's going to be a star for the future as well too. I like old Rui, the half Japanese kid, half Japanese, half African.
Yeah, I think I don't know. He's getting some opportunities, I think, but is he going to be a good future superstar? I don't think a superstar, but I think
Rui. You don't think so?
Not Rui. No, I think he won't. I'd be surprised if he's an all-star. Be pretty close, but
you must not have seen the dunk he did over AD. The disrespectful dunk he got on AD.
Yeah, no, he can probably dunk the ball. A lot of these guys can, but
he can shoot it though too. He can face up and shoot it as well too.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about him. I just think his defense or he's
okay. Well, we're gonna hold that thought. We're gonna revisit that one day down the track and see how Rui. Hopefully, Rui's career doesn't get ruined.
I don't think he'll get ruined, but I think he'll be a solid player. I think he'll be along the lines. I'm just trying to work out
along the lines of
someone who will have 4 or 5 good years and that's it. I don't know. I just he'll start for a little while. Unless someone comes along better, I think he'll be the starter.
Yeah.
Next 4 or 5 years.
Have to watch his space as far as Rui's concerned. Watch his space, huh?
But I reckon by the time he's late 20s, I reckon he would have peaked and he'd be on his way out. That's just my prediction.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see what happens. He has to improve quite a bit, I think.
Yeah. So what's the latest on your was it always TSRBA or is it TRSBA?
Yeah, actually, we're sort of in the off season at the moment, so not too much has been happening. But
all right,
very keen to, as we get close to the start of next season, we're definitely going to have a new category league draft.
Right.
Which one get you involved in that? So.
Yeah.
And most of the guys, I don't know if all the guys whether we'll do a 12 team or a 16 team. I haven't worked that out exactly, but it'll be either 12 or 16. We'll do up a new. I haven't worked out whether it'll be a dynasty league yet or just the one season. But I think a dynasty league category would be something cool and different. But yeah, that's what I'm sort of looking at. Yeah, and the TRSBA, but as at the moment it's in the off season, so we're obviously the next thing that sort of happens is the lottery and then the draft and
right
sort of stuff.
What's some of the dates for those big events? What for the actual NBA? When they announced lottery and all that draft?
Yeah, so the actual lottery is only less than 2 weeks away from being announced.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll just tell you the date so you can pencil it in. It's pretty close.
All our listeners can pencil it in as well.
23rd of June, so that's 13 days time for the NBA lottery announcement.
Okay, yeah.
The NBA draft, I think it's July. Let's have a look.
And they're going to try to kick the season back off.
This one's actually late July, so this is the 29th of July. I'll probably still be in Brisbane. I'll probably be in Brisbane then, actually.
Okay.
So that's when the actual draft is. So that'll probably be, I'd say it's the 30th of July in our time.
Okay, we have a big kid play for my alma mater, Loyola University, in Chicago, Krutwick. They had another great season. They went to the Sweet 16 this year.
Is he on the draft board? Do you think?
Krutwick. Hopefully he'll get a sniff in the draft this year because he had a great season. He's not a conventionally athletic big guy, but he plays kind of like a smaller version of the Joker, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, hopefully Krutwig, Krutwig gets drafted. If he doesn't end up in the draft, he'll end up overseas somewhere because he had a outstanding 4-year career at Loyola Chicago. Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have a bad draft last year, but they are saying that this draft is deeper.
It's a bit deeper. Who's the number one pick they're looking at? Who's some of the guys that are possible number ones?
Yeah, so let's just so basically we've got Cade Cunningham is the favorite to be sort of go number one.
Oh, here's your mock draft, okay.
Yeah, so this is NBAdraft.net if you ever want to look at this website.
Okay, Jalen Suggs is there.
Now the top 5 haven't changed much. The top 5, you've got Cade Cunningham, you've got Evan Mobley, a 7-footer.
All right.
So Evan Mobley, this guy could go number 2, comparing him to Chris Bosh or Pau Gasol.
Okay.
So they got some comparisons. He looks like that type of player. He averaged 16 and 9 or 8. Yeah, must have been a freshman.
Yeah.
And so he's, that sort of play, is always good to have.
Right.
Jalen Green has sort of stepped up a bit. He's obviously a 6'6" guard from the G League.
Okay, G League kid. Okay.
And who did he play for in the G League? Was it? Does it say? Comes from Fresno. So I reckon he's like an Eddie Jones because Eddie Jones was quite slim back in the day.
Hey, this is a name I haven't heard in a while. Eddie Jones was a heck of a player.
So Eddie Jones was about pick 5 when he was drafted, so that's pretty. Jalen Suggs. Now this is a guy probably a lot of people have heard. Point guard from
Gonzaga. Yeah. He's
solid sort of player.
He's legit, man. He's legit.
This guy's legit. So Jason Kidd, you reckon he'd be that good? Maybe.
Yeah.
That's the comparison there, and then the one that sort of rounds out the top 5 at the moment, Kuminga and Scotty Barnes at number 6. So Kuminga.
Shout out to Kuminga. What school is he from?
So he's like Siakam, they reckon, 6'8", 11 wingspan.
Wow. Okay.
So they reckon he's got the stats there. NBA ready 8, so they've even got this sort of stuff. Yeah. So maybe he's a good prospect. So he's a combo. So then at the moment they've got our mate at number 16, Josh Giddey, Warren's son.
Oh,
Warren's
yeah,
son.
There you go, Josh Giddey. Yeah, that's great.
That's Warren's son. Yeah. Warwick Giddey. Sorry.
Watched him play a lot for Adelaide this year. Yeah.
Gets a lot of rebounds, lots of assists.
Yes, very good basketball.
My pick is around. When is my pick? I've got a pick around here somewhere, so I might even get him. So I'm going to draft my draft picks around here, so 12 to 16. So I might see if I might just land him.
Yeah, can you put Cameron Krutwig in? See what comes up as far as draft possibilities, or
let me just see if I can get his name right.
Yeah, Krutwig from Loyola. RUT. Yeah, there is it. Right, Krutwig. Yeah.
Krutwig.
That's him right there. Yep. Mm-hmm.
This guy.
Yeah, big fella. Yeah. I'm hoping he gets a chance.
Some you're from Loyola. So
Loyola, yeah.
I couldn't get it out of my mouth properly.
It's a bit of a tongue twister, yeah.
He's a solid-looking dude, isn't he? Look at him.
Yeah, he plays. It's good.
Tell you what, he looks older than a youngster, doesn't he?
Yeah, he got a little mustache. He pencil in mustache there.
Give him 2 or 3 years, he won't have any hair. But has he played the full 4 years there? Has he?
Yeah, 4 years. And he went to the Final Four and the Sweet 16. His resume is very impressive.
Turning pro. Let's have a look. What does it say here?
Yeah, what are they saying here?
So.
Oh no, final. See, he's skipping a year. Sorry, he's skipping a year. He's coming in. He's only a third year player.
They've decided to turn pro and skip his final year. So
he's gonna strike while the iron is hot. Smart kid. Yeah.
4 years there. So he's obviously going to try to make the NBA or in Europe.
Yep. Yeah, best wishes to him. Best wishes to Cameron if he ever gets to watch this.
You watched him? Have you seen him play live at all? Or?
Yeah. When I went home a few times, I went to a couple games. You know.
Oh, did you? Good, excellent.
Yeah. My mom, when I was there in 2018, actually, that going back to that radio show I was on the other day, when my mother was watching, she was like, "Tell him why you didn't mention about your Hall of Fame when you went to the Hall of Fame," because I was inducted in the Hall of Fame in my university back in 2018. They also put me on the all-century team because 2018 marked the 100 years of basketball at our school, very prestigious school academically and sporting-wise. So to mark the 100 years anniversary, they put together the top 25 players. So I was fortunate to make the all-century team, they call it, which was all the top 25. Mm-hmm. My mom was like, on the phone, like, why you not telling them about that? You know, why you mention that? You know, it was just too much. You know, I apologize to everybody who I missed out on. You know, I'm glad you gave me the opportunity to say what's up to those people outside of this thing. Yeah.
Anyway, mate, I think we've had a good old hour and a bit here, so
it's been great.
It's been good to catch up. As just to let you know, I think it's just over another month before I'm back in Brisbane, but
another month from now,
possibly try to catch up again. I know it's sort of a busy time of the year for me. I've got a bit going on when I get back, but
again, we'll try. Once you get here, we'll get the mustard and we'll catch up.
Exactly. But there might be another, meet and mingle or something at the end of July. So who knows? We might. That was good catch up at that as well.
It was, yeah. That event, those events are always really nice. At the rooftop place in Brizzy. What's it called?
Yeah, you're testing me. Iris? What was it? Iris? I can't remember.
I think it was Club Iris, yeah, on the roof at the Hotel Iris, yeah.
Yeah.
The roof. A lot of these we're starting to do like LA. LA has a lot of nice rooftop. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Rooftop places, yeah. With these views, these fantastic views of the city, yeah.
Yeah, that's been episode 3 of the More Than a Game podcast with your host Tim Wilshire and the one and only, the great Andre Moore.
What's up, man? Thank you very much, man. It was great to catch up again.
We'll get it uploaded as soon as we get a chance. Probably tomorrow. Cheers, buddy.
Sure. Take care. Bye.